कबीर महमूद साहब की नज़र। हालात जैसी भी हों, गांव या शहर, शुक्रगुजारी का हक अदा करते चले। खामोश कलमी निगाह, झुकी सिखाती हुई उस्ताजी का हक अदा करते चले। काम कोई भी हो, कभी छोटा ना जाना, शागिर्दी का हक अदा करते चले। घर हो या दफ्तर, आर्ट या मुलाकात, वफादारी का हक अदा करते चले। इन्हीं से पाए इस्बाक ज़िंदगी का मंजर, या बंदगी का हक अदा करते चले। Now, every time I read these lines, they touch me deeply, not because they are about my father, but because they capture what Canvas Conversations is truly about. It's about human stories, the emotions behind success, and the unseen layers of who we are beyond our job titles. And when I read these words written by Adil Farooq, I realized he doesn't just understand numbers, he understands people. So welcome, Adil, to Canvas Conversations. You've built your career around numbers, facts, and figures. But those of us who follow you on LinkedIn have seen another side of you, a poetic heart, a deeply emotional soul. So today, I would want to take this opportunity and discuss with you so that you can unveil the secrets that how do you balance these two sides of yourself, the analytical and the emotional.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you very much, Rohina, for inviting me to your podcast and starting it so beautifully with the poem and salutation to Kabir Sahib. And I for the poetic heart and the emotional side that you mentioned is just specifically what was missing from my life when I was learning the numbers and going through the finance studies. I kept on observing people, observing behaviors, and amassing those experiences inside myself, and I would only express my inner opinions, as to say, with my closest of the circles. So with the passage of time, as I grew in experience and in age, I thought the need to share them in a more proficient, in a more public manner. So that became the channel of my energy to harness those pivotal moments, those difficult moments, those challenging moments, whether they are in my personal life or in professional life. So these moments of creative outlet, which allowed me to express myself more freely, really gave me those that impetus to handle those challenging moments in a better way. So that's how these two pieces of the puzzle came together, and that picture is completed because I believe that every human being has these two sides, even more than two. It's just the matter of how much one polishes that side and how much one wants to really portray in front of others. If I'm talking to the board of directors, I would definitely be inclined towards the storytelling that numbers are telling. If I am talking to my children, I would definitely be a whole different personality. But that would be me at the core. So that's how these two sides that show off in an apparent, in a conflict to a viewer that sees only the content or sees only in my professional image or perception that might come off like that.
Now, that's such a refreshing way to look at it, Adil, because most of the times people see finance as something purely factual, very logical. But when I see you, I mean, you are showing us the human story side behind every number. I mean, I can see while you speak normally as well. I mean, whenever I've had a conversation with you, interaction with you, be it be verbal or written, or even when I'm seeing your content on LinkedIn, it tells, it shows a story behind numbers. In fact, the poem that you wrote for my father, I mean, I'm really grateful and thankful to you. The beautiful piece that you have, as a tribute, you have written for my father in response to the review you gave to my book, The Canvas of Success. In fact, I would want you to share a story behind this poem that you have written for him, and you were mentioning something about the numbers.
I have a deep inclination towards understanding numbers in taking, in my childhood, I had the dream of learning mathematics all the way, because I wanted to learn all of the mathematics that was there in the world. So, and it is rightly said, the mother of all sciences. So, understanding numbers, whether they are in the form of dates or in the form of, they're spread all around us. So they convey some meanings in relation to the poem that came along with the review of your book. I read the book, and the way you had told stories from your father's childhood towards his migrations first from village to Dhaka, and then from Dhaka to Karachi, and then the challenges that he faced there in the culture and in the jobs and in life in general. That gave me the impetus to pay tribute in the form of a poem, but that became more special in terms of discipline, which is called which is in Urdu, it is called Ilmul Adad, which means that the different alphabets are ascribed different numbers, and from the alphabets you can translate a word to a number. So if you sum up the numbers of the first letters of the second verses of this poem, you get 2020, which was actually the year in which Kabir Sahib passed away. Yeah. So may his soul rest in peace. So that is a way of paying tribute in a different manner. So that actually related to numbers. So it adds
definitely a depth to that,
a very different angle.
Yeah. No, that's so fascinating, Adil. When you see numbers around at your workplace, and in everything and anything you do at work, can you share an example from your work life where the numbers data reveals something deeper about the people or the teamwork or culture? I mean, in simple way, I would want to know that, is there any kind of an example that you can share which will help us understand, okay, your side of the personality, which see a story behind numbers at workplace?
Yeah, our life is full of numbers and full of stories, because I've been in love with process understanding right from the start of my career when I started working in 2005. Since then, I got the opportunity to work in some of the process improvement assignments at the start. Mm-hmm. That put me on the path to understand the process from the start to the finish. Whether it is non-financial or financial, whether it is relating to numbers, or even if it's not relating to numbers. So when numbers appear before us as well, we tend to think of them in terms of stories, because eventually there are some people, there are some processes that those numbers are being reflected by. And so we need to understand that process. So there's a natural pattern in which I tend to behave at work, in which I need to understand that story behind the numbers so as to really absorb it and to accept it, even if it's showing variance. Sometimes an expense head or an account balance should be showing variance, okay? But if it's not showing variance, somebody who is just trained to analyze the variance will say that there is no variance, it's okay, let's go ahead. But for a person who needs to understand the process, will say that there should have been variance in this head, in this, let's say, month or in this year, and they would investigate that further. But I was auditing a client, and I was the manager at that time. It was selling a product. It was a manufacturing concern. So when we were analyzing, we saw that the sales were cyclical. But at the end of the period, at the end of the year, in the last month, there were huge dispatches to the clients in terms of and sales had been recognized against that. So it was really unusual as compared to the previous years and in previous months as well. So if we dug down into that, what has happened there. So we came to know that the management had put on immense pressure on the top leadership had put pressure on the management to achieve their sales targets, and those sales targets were really out of the world. And what they were doing, they were asking their clients to just give them advanced purchase orders so that they can book the sales in that particular time period. From that activity of dispatches, we actually dug out what had happened, and then eventually tracked it down to their target setting process. And we did send out a recommendation to the board that the targets are not being set in a proficient manner. So that's how numbers revealed what the management was going through, what the managers were feeling, and how the culture was being tuned into that organization. So that's how drilling or asking why is it so, in terms of in words of Simon Sinek, finding the why behind the numbers really drills that down.
It's such an amazing and interesting example, Adil, you have showed, because it shows how even the financial data can tell us about human behavior, basically. So it's not just figures, it's reflection, trust, and sometimes even as you as you have clearly given the example that even leadership choices here are hidden behind the lines. So it's a learning scenario for all of us, that again, a live example in front of us, that if we see 1 + 1 = 2, so there's more behind that 2 number, right? That that addition is not simply just 1 + 1 2. It is more behind that. There's a story behind it. There's a human approach behind it. So I want to understand, Adil, from you. I mean, finance is I would say it's a technical field, right? I mean, it's all about precision and compliance and accuracy. But I can see, I know that an audit is also about relationships. And in fact, you have given one example just a few minutes ago. But again, I would want to ask you, why do you believe, or do you believe, and why do you believe, if so, that emotional intelligence and communication as well, both these parts, which is totally a non-financial thing that I'm talking about, and emotional intelligence and communication skills, how critical are these in having or building your technical expertise in the function that you are in? I mean, in simple way, I would say, does emotional intelligence and communication skill have an impact or affect your technical professionalism?
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. It's a very insightful question, but I'll take it in 2 parts with respect to communication and emotional intelligence. With respect to communication first, if all the professions, let's say you're in human resources, somebody's in sales, other person is in procurement, who, when they talk about their own profession in their technical jargon, they can only talk to their like-minded or professionals. They can't converse with the other persons. So in terms of when the finance person has to communicate with the field manager, they have to be business partners with the business side. They have to be communicating with the process owners. They have to meeting with the budget holders, and explain all of those findings from their meetings to their top management, to the top leadership, and to the board of directors, and to the audit committees. They need to communicate it in a way that they can easily understand what the finance person needs to communicate. For that, the storytelling, the communication, and the other part, the emotional intelligence, also play huge part in that, in the sense that you need to understand that what impact your communication, your emotions, and your information is going to have on the decision that the organization is going to take, and how that decision is going to impact the achievement of the organizational objectives. So to quote a fact, actually, it was a Harvard study in 2014, and they studied that the respondents said that 63% of them said that they can recall something told to them in terms of storytelling, as compared to only 5% who said that they can only recall a hard statistic told to them in a meeting. So it's 63% versus 5%. So you can see the impact that that your storytelling and your communication method and your emotional intelligence has on the decision. And also 72% of the respondents said that their decisions are impacted by the information presented to them. So if we need to harness the power of the data and the power of the information at our disposal, we need to communicate in a timely, in a precise, in an emotionally intelligent manner. Okay, so just giving a fact can overwhelm other person, or it can coming up with a presentation in a whole barrage of information can inform someone, but it cannot enable an informed decision. So that's how communication and storytelling play their part. And to grow in someone's career, it is imperative that they understand these aspects, because they cannot grow alone with their technical skills.
Again, a very, impactful example and explanation you have given, Adil. And to sum up and to recap, what I understood from you is, especially for the job seekers and the professionals out there, the young professionals listening to us right now. No matter what field you are in, be it finance or non-finance function, it really comes down to how you build the trust with your stakeholders. Am I getting it right, Adil? Right? By storytelling,
yes, exactly.
In fact, by presenting the numbers or the logics, you have to build a story behind it, so that it captures the listener's heart and mind altogether. They can relate to what you are explaining. And so it's not only about the tools and systems, having the expertise on tools and systems, or as we are talking about numbers at the moment. It's about how you narrate it. That brings me to your quality that basically highlight that's basically the highlight of your profile on LinkedIn, is your storytelling and your writing skills. One thing that really sets you apart is your writing. Okay, so as I've been repeatedly mentioning again and again, that unlike your professional profile, which is all about numbers, what I see on your LinkedIn is that you share thoughts on wellness, on reflection, spirituality, something very rarely seen in the finance world. Okay, so I want to know from you, has it impacted you in your personal, obviously in your professional as well as in your personal life? And if so, then why do you think, like, professionals, especially who are in data driven roles like you, should learn to tell stories and not just present numbers?
Yeah, this kind of ever since I started creating content and writing and expressing on LinkedIn, I started expanding my network, and I got this kind of feedback from a lot of my friends and professionals in real life who know me and perceive me just like the way you are mentioning about finance. But everybody, as we discussed, everybody has more sides to their personality, and it's just a matter of how one pays attention to which part. And if a person grinds themselves in studies and then goes off to a 9 to 5 job, and then wait for the next day to start, it's what their life becomes. But in my life, somewhere that kind of self-reflection or self-analysis came automatically by God's will. And it's actually a funny story, because I started recognizing my encounters as a third person, as someone who is seeing Adil behave in a certain manner in different situations, in different encounters. And I thought that first I was under the impression that it's something that is distraction, or that is hindering my my presence in that moment.
Okay.
That I'm not fully present because I'm also seeing the situation as a third person. So with the passage of time, by observing other things and by reading, I came to the conclusion that it's not actually a hindrance. It's actually the path to that self-awareness, because once you collect the data on your own self, you analyze that data, and that then you can present it to yourself for approval in the form of a story, just
True.
like a life is. So that kind of storytelling, humans are born with, ever since our parents tell us at the night time, or
Right.
even our teachers tell us the stories.
Right.
We remember those stories, still to this day. Even in our organizations, everything is story. If you talk to a friend, you get on phone and you tell them, I have a really nice story today from office.
True.
And even office politics, whether
Oh,
it's
yes.
good or it's bad, it's all stories.
Correct.
It's even if it doesn't matter whether it's original or made up, but it's
Yeah.
all stories. You take your colleague to a corner and you talk about the story. So that's what story is, and that's how it connects us to other human beings, other situations. It creates memories, and it attaches those experiences with those chapters of our lives.
True.
So that somehow became part of my being as well, and it really helped in my professional life. But also the creative expression. When you pay attention to that, you have to have that kind of outlet that you need to express. Otherwise, the water keeps boiling inside. So, but not to be theoretical, but on the practical side, that creative outlet actually helps you face the difficult moments. If our office politics is going against you, sometimes getting out of that environment and doing something like on LinkedIn, connecting to a professional, engaging with their post, or doing something, or creating something of your own and posting it, and getting some interaction, a positive one, that can really turn turn the tide in your favor in that particular moment. So it's just that being mindful in that moment, not to rush. If you're putting all your focus, all your attention, all of the energy on one identity, let's say if that's a professional, and you put that identity on yourself, that I'm just a professional, so it becomes difficult in a lot of situations. So that's how that.
No, yeah. No, I totally agree with you, Adil, because stories basically make people remember, things, points. While data
Yeah.
makes you think, you can share the data, the numbers that will make you think, but stories will resonate with you. It will touch your heart and it will connects you, connects the logic with the emotions. But tell me one thing, Adil. I mean, you are again someone, as I have, people like you having that kind of an approach and a mindset of these are seldom seen around. But most of the times, many professionals, not only people who are doing data driven roles like finance or IT, many professionals hesitate to post, or share online. I mean, it's a very common, I would say, I don't know, apprehension, reluctance, I don't know what to call, some fear that,
Yeah,
they
it's a big
don't want
speed
to be
breaker.
judged. They're like, unlike you, I'll tell you quickly that, unlike you, I was interacting or I was having one conversation with another person who belonged to the same industry as you are, same function, I would say. So, the response was when I asked him that why don't you post things, why don't you post content on LinkedIn? I don't see your activity around on LinkedIn. And that person said that, well, I don't know what to write, and there's no reason to write anything. He was also in coincidentally in a finance and accounting function, and he's like that. I don't need to write anything. What should I write? I mean, and plus, even if I write something, people will comment, people will judge. So on that note, I want you to give some advice to, people who are listening to us at the moment. And there are people, by the way, who wants to express themselves, who want to come on the social media, especially if we talk about the professional platform like LinkedIn. They want to express themselves, write something, but they are reluctant, they are kind of hesitant. So, and they are not sure where to start, what to write. So I would want you, Adil, to say something on that and advise people around.
Yeah, thank you so much. So this might take some take some time, this answer.
That's
because
okay.
this is a very pertinent question, because I've seen that that roadblock or that hurdle in a lot of professionals who consume a lot of content, who when you exchange thoughts in a one-to-one setting or in a private setting, are all but extrovert, are all but vocal, are all but opinionated about everything in the life. But when it comes to sharing publicly or posting publicly, which becomes part of their online profile or persona, is really becomes really a breaker, a speed breaker in a hurdle in their mindset. So I had to come out of that comfort zone as well. But I think the storytelling part is actually what's lacking in that story, that they are not able to tell it online. Whether it's there are two aspects to it which we can view it. One is they don't want anything technical to be talking about on LinkedIn. Just like I felt that I have a lot of finance discussions at work and generally everywhere, so I don't want more of it. So I intentionally diverted from that. So one aspect might be this, so they don't find anything else they are passionate about to write. And second is that they haven't connected the dots in their life story. Just like when you do a lot of work with the candidates preparing for interviews, for job postings, for CVs, writings, and resume improvement, everything. So that's what storytelling is about. The candidate has gone through the life experiences, but they haven't jotted them or connected the dots to form like a line graph, you may say. So when you do that, so the candidate also sees them like moving it like this. They understand the graph of their life, and they can then portray in a much improved manner to a panel of interviewers, for example. So similarly, a lot of professionals don't connect those dots, don't find the passion, so they don't post a lot. So just to add a little story to this, for connecting the dots and for understanding the data that we are consuming on day-to-day basis. This is just one sentence that my father was an English professor. So that's where the love of the language was born with. He started his academy. So I though I was I was underage, but I used to sit in his English language courses every year. He used to conduct them in the summer vacation. So one of my English language teachers said, he was talking about verbs and tenses. So he said there are only two verbs in English language that end with a O and need an ES to be added for their participle form. So those two verbs are do and go.
Wow.
Only two verbs.
Excellent.
That knows that end with an O, and they need E and S to be added to make their participle form. So that's how the stories connect. So someone might be memorizing the whole dictionary of verbs, but if they don't reach to this conclusion, or if they haven't been told this kind of conclusion that there are only two verbs that end with an O, they wouldn't know it. So they wouldn't have the ability to present it as well. So that's where the process understanding comes in. So when you get end-to-end process understanding, you can portray the whole picture in a much better color, in a much better canvas, in a much better painting that others can easily understand. If you only talk about a specific part of the painting, it might not match with the viewers color, or it might not be their interest. So the relationship would fall apart. So, but when you know the end to end, that the whole painting is presented to the viewer. So there are a lot of you can find a lot of connection points, a lot of common points to grow your relationship with the other person, and that's how any social networking site or any content creation works. Once you create the content and you build relationships, you build the trust. Then, for example, if I see your post, I see that Ruhina has posted a video which you do so amazingly and in so much great consistency and frequency. So I find it very easy to interpret and to see where you're coming from and to engage with that kind of post. So that's how that building thing works. So, and that's the lesson for those who are thinking about posting as well. They need to connect the dots in their life experiences, and once they do, they need to write something about that they are passionate about, they believe it to be to be right, to be true, and to be helpful for others. And that can be done in baby steps. Not you don't need to be anti-Simon Sinek to be popular.
No, that's such an empowering message, Adil, because especially for those who want to build their voice and not overthink, about the first step. Sometimes all it takes is honesty and consistency, right? And but consistency has to be reflected as we connect, with people, with person to person. And talking about building connections, Adil, there's another approach, or there's another psyche what I have come across and observed in people whenever I'm coaching and talking with people how to embark on their journey on LinkedIn on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn platform is often taken as a very transactional platform, meaning you connect with people, you send a connection request, you apply on jobs, and you send personalized DM, and that's it. I mean, for them, building connections on LinkedIn is just to send a request, and that's it, and then wait for them to respond. And once you are connected, you disappear. Or I just come in and log in and I just view your post or view whatever is coming on my feed, and that's it. I don't engage, I don't comment, I don't use those connections for more than just building, increasing my numbers of network on LinkedIn. So I want you to maybe share an example or a story. How can professionals use this platform, LinkedIn platform, to build genuine long-term relationships, professional relationships, obviously. So help me understand, if you have whatever your experience is, or out of your, the way you are projecting yourself, or the way you are active on LinkedIn through your content, what would you say on that, building connections?
Yeah, to connect with the last question and with your previous discussion as well, in which you were saying that finance is very much 1, 0, and 1. It's like a binary language that whatever it is in black and white, and it can be very objectively stated or factually verified and logically explained. But in practical life, it is much more than that. In terms of when you are drawing the accounts of a company. The balance sheet will balance, the assets will equal liabilities and equity, and so on and so forth. There's no margin of subjectivity or ambiguity there. But when it comes to evaluating projects or building financial models or coming up with the strategies or doing investment analysis, there are a lot of factors, a lot of variables, a lot of management priorities that need to be taken into account before suggesting something. Similar is the case with the social life as well. That with the last question that you asked about why people don't post, because they see themselves as professionals only, and they want to build their presence as professionals only as well. So they don't really, because that technical knowledge is taken in terms of 1 + 1 = 2. They don't want to, get into that discussion. What's the discussion about it? Yeah, what's the discussion about it? So that becomes a barrier to posting. So it only becomes more visible, more explorative, more open once you start exploring yourself, start advocating and finding the areas of your own interests and your own passions that you have kept on the sidelines while you were studying, or applying for jobs, or connecting for that sole purpose. But LinkedIn, like all other social media platforms, is much more diverse, much more full of opportunities, and full of collaborations. And it all comes down to one thing: what is your objective of being here? What is your objective? Let's say if I ask you, what is your objective of being on LinkedIn, or someone asks me, what is my objective? So that objective needs to be actually,
discovered first,
broadened. That needs to be discovered, and that needs to be broadened. Even if somebody is applying for jobs, once they get the job, what will they do with the LinkedIn then? So that's why people usually ghost. They have that kind of objective, they get that completed, or they are targeting some certain type of number of followers, number of connections. Once they get to that, they ghost. So, but obviously, relationship building is on the opposite pole of that kind of behavior. So, for relationship building, you have to show up, even if you're not, even if I am not posting consistently. My connections know that I'm there. I show up on their posts, in DMs, and so on and so forth. So that kind of thing. But for me, it was very clear from the start that I had no clear intention of being in LinkedIn. So it's a paradoxical statement, I know, but I had no clear intention. I mean that I wasn't selling anything. I wasn't setting myself up for any particular objective or particular target. I was just there for the purpose of being there, for showing up for myself, for others, and for connecting and exchanging thoughts. So that's how I ended up connecting with people like you who want diversity in their networks. And for me, the purpose was I hadn't stated it from the start, but somehow it was very clear to me that there was no strict goal or target as far as I was concerned for being on LinkedIn. I was showing up for myself, for others, for that creative expression that I was finding the energy to be put out into the world, and that's how I started building my network with diverse professionals all across the globe, and that really helped me not only in terms of what we were talked earlier about facing the challenges in other parts of my life. But also, the opportunities, not of the kind of jobs or some those sort of opportunities, but opportunities in terms of expression, like I have a great dear connection, Dino Crela from Italy, and he wrote a book on his journey, and I sent him a review. And he was so excited. I posted it on LinkedIn as well, and he was so excited that he sent his the hard copy of his book all the way from there to me in Pakistan. Similarly, other connections, were a writer on kindness asked me about choosing the title of her book, which she was writing at that time, and has come out since then. So these kind of small micro moments, and for someone like me, these micro moments are actually
these are not micro moments, Adil. These are, trust me, I am a live example in front of you. What you did in response to my book review, I mean, means a lot. Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much for your kind words. And just to just as a way of gratitude to my connections, I another connection wrote a book. So I find book reviews really really interesting, and they give me a lot of positive energy. So it was a poetic discourse from a distant connection, I must say, and I ordered it online. It came to me in hard copy, and it was really fascinating. It talked about the evolution in terms of how human beings were bestowed with all the intelligence in the start, and then the fall happened, and then they lost it, and that's all. So I came about writing the review, and I wrote a text review, and I wrote a poem in English in the review as well. So one of my connections actually read that, and she said that if anybody could write that kind of review for me, I would write the book right away.
Wow.
So these kind of moments that cannot be captured in a certificate, or that cannot be listed.
Absolutely.
But these really harnessed that energy and gave me that kind of quiet encouragement to keep on doing what I'm doing, and keep showing up. So, and nonetheless, I draw that positive energy from my connections as well. A lot of my connections post really insightful content, and they show up consistently as well. Even when they are facing challenges in their own lives, they do show up. They can lessen their time, but they do show up. So that's how interesting it is.
No, that's so true, Adil. I mean, what I see, I've been observing you, and plus, obviously, after having this Canvas conversation with you today, I mean, you give the value first to the people, and the right people find you naturally. I mean, that's I would say, in English we say it's a karma, but this is something that I would say that the value you give to others, it bounces back on you, correct? And the kind of appreciation, not only first you give to others, and in response to that, when people reciprocate, and I truly empathize on that, then it's more than just being present on LinkedIn, and it means a lot. The kind of fulfillment that you must be feeling, the kind of satisfaction and the contentment that you must be feeling at that time is really deep, and it really weighs a lot. So, Adil, I'm sure whomever is listening to us right now, and not only today, but offline as well, whomever has interacted with you till now, I mean, they take you as your mentor, be a personal as a personal or a professional mentor. I want you to guide some young professionals, Adil, that whether they are in the finance field or any other field, what advice would you give to them in terms of balancing their technical mastery, be it finance, be it be HR, be it be IT, marketing, sales, with human qualities like empathy, reflection, and resilience, what I see from your content and from your conversations. So what advice would you give to others, the young professionals out there listening to you today?
Yeah, it's a wonderful question, and I thought of scene from my favorite movie, from a lot of people's favorite movies from our era, because it's the greatest movie of the last century, Shawshank Redemption. I think you must have seen it.
Excellent, yeah.
So it is a wonderful scene in which Morgan Freeman is standing with the other character. They are in the prison, and they are talking about a group of people there who are all into abusing other prisoners, and they are into bad things. So somebody says to Morgan Freeman that they belong to that category. I think they mention something about their orientation or something like that. So Morgan Freeman says a sentence that that has stayed with me because of the sentence itself, and because I watch my favorite things on repeat as well.
True. And
he says that for being gay, you have to be human first. And he says that for being human first, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for being gay, you have to be gay first. And he says that for
Oh, wow.
So, for all individuals, for all professionals, you have to be human first. And what does that mean? For your own humanness to stand and to be valued, just like you very rightly mentioned, you have to value others' humanness and their humanity. And for that, you have to treat others like they are meant to be treated, like they are created equal, like they deserve everything that you uh, think or perceive yourself to be deserving of. And that's how your humanness will start growing, and you will be valued in front of others as well. And that's how the professionalism and your technical knowledge and everything that comes afterwards. You first have to be human first. You first understand yeah, the the core part of your own self. And another scene from one of my favorite series, other, and in which there's a child who wants to learn some kind of skill, and there's an old master, and he goes to him, and he wants him to teach something, to do something with the fire. And he insists that just give me lessons on fire bending. So the teacher says, I will not teach you fire how to deal with fire until you have learned how to work with discipline.
Oh, wow.
So that's how these little things, that once you understand, if you're late for a meeting, for example, and you understand that if you're late, the other person would be waiting, and it's very simple to empathize with the other person, to let them know that you'll be late. There's no guarantee in life that everybody is on their time, or nobody gets any emergency. But just that kind of communication puts the other person at ease, and yourself at ease as well. You will not be apologizing later. So that's a simple thing. That's how to start. That's how to engage. Because all of the things that we have talked about, going beyond numbers, going beyond people, that goes with a lot of curiosity and a lot of questions, actually. So those questions can't be asked or can't be answered if they aren't done with a positive attitude and in the right environment to the right people. So you have to shape, and you have to carve your humanness before your professionalism can take charge.
That's such a golden advice, Adil. And honestly, something I wish each one of us who's in this conversation joining us today, every job seeker especially, could internalize, because I believe that the most successful professionals are the ones, no matter whichever field of expertise they are in, as long as they are curious, they are humble, and most importantly, as you have rightly mentioned, who are just human. They project, they feel, and they stay human, no matter what kind of career ladder they are climbing in. So on that note, on a closing note, Adil, I mean, I can go on and on. I can listen to your stories, to your examples, your inspiring, advices that you have been given. But one before we wrap up, I would say that if there's one thing from your journey, one mindset or practice that had helped you both professionally and personally, what would it be? If you can want to share it with us, please.
Yeah, just like I mentioned earlier, that part where I started observing myself, it can be looked with another angle as well, and that would be that response to your question, and it is basically stepping out of your own way, not being your own hurdle. Sometimes the identities, the work on identities that we ascribe to ourselves is a wonderful academic sort of study as well, if you want to, or any of the viewers want to lean into it. But if somebody asks me who is Adil, I would say something Then they again ask me, who is Adil? I would say something else, and again and again and again. So that would turn out to be all of the identities that I ascribe to myself. I attach myself to. So each of those identities can be termed as a box that we label ourselves in. So once I label myself as a finance person, I will not be stepping out of that box, because that box would become my comfort zone, and all of the the rest of
you have
the rest
phrased
of
in
the
such
world
a
would be
beautiful way. Wow.
so the rest of the world would be hostile. So I would stay in that box, and I would also ask someone to close the cap.
Basically, keep on exploring your inner soul, your inner self, and keep discovering your new identities, because God has given you so much, multifaceted
Potential.
talent and skills that you have professionally and personally. And that is why we say that humans are ashraful makhluqa. That is why we say, right? So Adil, we can again go on and keep the conversation going. In fact, I believe that this is not the end. This is only the first time, but we will definitely have another episode with you, another Canvas conversation with you. It has been such a heartfelt and enlightening conversation with you, Adil. And once again, thank you so much for reminding us that success isn't just about numbers. It's the meaning behind it. It's the story behind them that basically makes an impact. So once again, thank you so much, Adil, for joining me in Canvas Conversation, and wish you all the best. And whomever, in fact, I would urge everybody to connect with Adil on LinkedIn. I will keep the LinkedIn link in my description. So please connect with Adil. There's so much to learn from him through his content. He's an inspiring professional, a finance professional. Thank you once again.
Yes, thank you very much, Ruhina. And some closing remarks from my side as well for all the viewers. Thank you so much who have seen it thus far. And for you, I found the name Canvas Conversations really appealing and inspiring in the fact that there was a story behind it. You had connected it to your book, which was a tribute to your father. And it's just a wonderful idea how you're highlighting other professionals like me. And I'm deeply grateful for all your words and for this platform and for the wonderful manner of the conversations that we have had in prior to this episode, and inshallah afterwards as well. And just for the viewers who are interested into harnessing their speaking anxiety and to polish their speaking skills, it's a book by Nathan Gold, just like the name. It's a golden reserve. The book's name is also Harness Your Speaking Anxiety. And Nathan does a wonderful work. He has a lot of videos on YouTube, so you can watch those and read his book as well, and also watch the video and works of Dhananjaya Hettiarachchi. He's a Toastmaster World Speaking Champion from Sri Lanka, and his work is just awesome as well with regards to speaking abilities as well. So just just a note on those and if anybody wants to connect, I am open to connecting without any reason and just go on from there. So thank you very much for all of you being here, and for you, Ruhina, especially.
It was our pleasure, Adil, and I'm looking forward to having more and more of Canvas conversations with you. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you. Surely. Thank you.